Before I begin the video, I want to share a quick little disclaimer that I am a longtime fan of Ye, and I simply am making this video only to share the context of the album that he was working on. However, I do not agree, defend, or support any of the messages that he's been saying on Twitter, also known as X. I don't agree with anything that he's been saying on this album, nor anything that he's been promoting on this album. Just want to make it very clear. So unfortunately, all these posts that I'm going to show from Ye's X page are unfortunately censored only because of the context of the posts that he's been saying. But for the last couple of months, he's been promoting some very controversial messages on his Twitter, also known as X, whatever you want to call it. And basically, it involves Nazis and everything, things like that. And it basically was leading up to the release of an album that he mentioned that he's been working on a very long time now, right? And we got a snippet, I guess if you want to call it like that, a couple days ago, and the sound is controversial, if that makes any sense. He, best way to puts it at a anti-Semitic sound is the best way he explains it, and this is kind of where we're at. So the album ended up getting leaked behind a paywall or group buy, whatever you want to call it. However, the good thing about this is that they claim that all the money that they used to buy this group buy will be donated to the US Holocaust Museum, which fortunately, it does suck that we ended up going this route. However, if it is used for a good cause, that's the best way we can go about it. Now, as far as I know, every single streaming platform, including offline or including Untitled as well, did end up removing this album because of the context. However, I did get a chance to somewhat listen to the album as best as I could. And the first thing that comes to mind is that I don't know exactly when this album was when it got leaked. It could have been when he first announced it or yesterday or 2 days ago. I really don't know. But the first thing that comes to mind is that it does sound extremely unfinished. It's sloppy, a lot of like verses that just don't sound like they're nowhere close to getting done. I don't know in which like timeline we were at with this album. I don't know if it was close to getting released or if it was just beginning to like create an album, but it does sound unfinished. The lyrics are controversial. Everything you can think about, it's rough. It's promotes really like just plain wrong hate speech and it's just, I don't know what happened. Like, as a fan of Ye, I grew up listening to College Dropout, Late Registration, and Graduation, all these albums, right, that were 10 out of 10 classics. So from going to that to the era that he's going now is disappointing. And the fact that he's promoting these messages and he clearly proudly is like excited to like perform these songs live, like we heard in like the Korea sessions. I don't know what is going on with him, but that's kind of the route that he's going towards. Regarding all the news that's been revolving around Ye, the concert that was planned for Korea did in fact cancel because of the recent news and the recent controversy that he's been getting himself into, and the fact that there was a very strong rumor going around that Ye did in fact want to perform some of these tracks in this album live in Korea. It was just been a recipe for disaster just because of the fact that there's a lot of other countries that do in fact arrest people for saying these kind of messages or promoting this kind of like information or details, whatever you call it. And I feel like, unfortunately, I'm going to say this in the best way possible, this might be the very best outcome that we can get for the worst album of all time. So fortunately and unfortunately, it does suck that, a lot of hard work got leaked. However, this is the best outcome that we can get for longtime fans of Ye because, the hate speech that he's promoting on this album, the very controversial takes that he's been promoting on this album is unfortunately a route that I don't want to hear and I don't want him to continue under. I don't know if it's just mental illness or something has gone extremely wrong, but I hope that he finds the help that he needs as a longtime fan of Ye. I grew up listening to College Dropout, so for me, this honestly would be the best outcome that we could get for, once again, the very worst album of all time. Once again, sorry, I've said this a million times now. I hope he gets the help he needs. I don't know where his headspace is at after this entire like speculation that happened. But let's just wait and see. I hope that if Bully ever comes out, I hope for the best, because what we heard in that album is unique. It sounds like a Ye properly pronounced, like produced album, kind of like, you know, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, kind of like Life of Pablo. All of these like banger 10 out of 10 tracks sound like on par of what could have been. So again, let's just wait and see. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you like what you saw, comment and down below of what you think about this whole controversy that happened, and let's just talk about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.